This creator asked people to share the real reason they walked away from their marriage, and some of these are crazy. He wanted a wife and children. He didn't want to be a husband and father. The attempted murder for the insurance was a bit much for me to forgive. What? Day after wedding, when I pranced around the room calling him my husband, he gave me a sick look. He said his first wife who died was his true wife, and he'd only ever be able to call me wifey. What the fuck? He told me taking my mom to cancer treatment was really interfering with cooking and cleaning for him, and I needed to choose who mattered more. Spoiler alert, it wasn't the man-child. Correct. My frontal lobe developed. And I was at my therapist's office and he was blowing up my phone because he was mad I went to therapy. My therapist took out the power and control wheel and I couldn't deny I was in an abusive relationship. He became a flat earther and a Republican. My cat was sick. He told me to put it down. I said no. He said I loved the cat more than him. I said, you're right. Go home to your mom. The cat got better and we had another 10 years together. He has the pleasure of saying he was left for a cat. I went searching for evidence of the other woman. I was so sure he was cheating on me. I found Nazi propaganda and evidence he was in a white supremacy organization instead. He put a lit cigar on my foot as a joke, claimed he thought it was out. At that moment, I knew he hated me. His aunt died in my arms from a pulmonary embolism. He decided to cash in her life insurance policy and never gave her a memorial service. That was it for me. Good. I thought about my future children having him as their father and realized I already loved them too much to allow that. He grabbed our daughter by the arms to yell in her face. She was 4. Unacceptable. He chose a volunteer firefighter meeting over the emergency C-section of our son. Shooting off his police weapon to scare me after I walked away from an argument. People said run, don't walk. People were correct. Laying in the hospital for nearly a month by myself. No calls, no texts. I almost died. He cheated on me for 12 years, introduced me to his female coworker and told me to have fun. He knew I was bi when he was out of the country for a year. Well, she treated me like I deserved and I've been with her ever since. Almost 4 years now. You know what? Good for you. Forgot to give me, his wife of 13 years, a Christmas present, but gave one to the 2 girls he was having an emotional affair with at work. Then he slept through my birthday and blamed it on me because I didn't wake him up. Trash. I loved his little sister, and when she started dating, she wanted advice. I told her I never wanted her to end up with someone like her brother. Then I thought, why am I still married to him if he's not even a good role model to his sister? I cleaned his apartment and cooked a week's worth of meals for finals week. He came home and said I was smothering him. I walked away from 6 years in the hope to be his wife. Good for you. He told me if you went away, I'd have 80% less problems. Without skipping a beat, I said, okay, we're done then. Best decision I ever made to bounce out of there. Ha! When Pizza Hut texted his phone and said, good morning, baby. Yeah. He would get on me about spending my money at TJ Maxx, but was paying for escorts. Lovely. I found out I was the 3rd person in my marriage. I wanted kids, but he didn't yet, so we waited. Then suddenly it was all he wanted. I went through fertility treatments for years, finally had to say, I think I'm ready to accept that we will be child-free, as painful as it was. He then told me he needed to have kids before he turned 30. I said, then you're not with the right person. 8 years later, I have 4 beautiful children and a happy marriage, and he is still childless with his inappropriately age-gapped girlfriend. We were being intimate and he was doing something that hurt. I asked him to stop. He literally paused, looked down and said, it's not hurting me, and continued. That's fucking disgusting. The last straw was when I had calmly asked him a question in Olive Garden about why he kept calling out of work when he didn't need to. And he started yelling at me publicly about how he could never do anything right, and I was so awful. I had just taken a bite of this cake I had been looking forward to all day, and I thought to myself, why am I married to someone who would yell at me in an Olive Garden on a Tuesday? He took the babysitter to her senior prom, and no, I didn't know. I'm sorry, what? He didn't invite me to his 30th birthday party that his work wife was throwing him because he didn't want it to be weird. I was postpartum with our 2nd child. I'm sorry, but no married man should have a work wife. My daughter said, Mommy, if we have to live like this, I don't want to live anymore. She was 9. We left with what we had on our backs. Good for you for getting both of you out. Mid-miscarriage, he asked, is the baby even mine? Sorry, I gotta ask. My therapist told me I found my whole childhood trauma in one man. When asked if we would have any more kids after the first, he said he'd throw me down the stairs if I got pregnant again. He was flirting with a newly 18-year-old server at the restaurant we both worked at. Told her she was the most gorgeous person he'd ever seen on my birthday. Jail. When he looked at me and said, you're not good enough for your father to get off drugs, why do you think you're enough for me? A stranger online messaged me to tell me she was embarrassed for me because he literally came to her job after she didn't accept his many social media requests. He died suddenly in a logging accident, not really coming back as a couple from that. Proud of everyone in this comment section for getting away from these trash humans.